Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 30-year veteran writer, illustrator, editor, publisher of comic, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. It is election night. America, November 8th, 2022. Took my dad to vote. I'm not going to get into my personal choices because we want to just kind of avoid that. We're here to escape that. If you're not obsessed with what's going on with that, you just want to break from that. That's what we're here for, to kind of entertain you and give you something else to think about. So it is November 8th, and it's getting time to start checking out things to buy, and we get some stuff for holidays as well. So, well, let's see what all we got. First, we're going to talk about books I got in from comic book crowdfunding. We're going to start with BEOWULF, number 1 through 4, $25 plus shipping and handling. Monarch Publishing. These are the first 3 covers. I'll show you cover 4 in a minute. Monarch Publishing for 1 through 3, and then there's a new publisher for issue number 4, which I'll get into here in a moment. I thought I had the issues right nearby. I don't. Okay, no problem. Anyway, written by Grant Laker, penciler Antonio Brandao, inker Grant Laker, colors by Roy Moon, lettering by William Stitchwell. Genre is fantasy, and what's about in modern-day Denmark, a mining company opens up a cave to discover a dragon's den filled with gold and a sleeping dragon. A dragon that, of course, wakes up. Cut to Breezewood, USA, to the bedroom of 13-year-old Hazel, who is playing with her cat Mooney when she gets a flash in her mind of the dragon waking up, and the cat begins to talk to her. Now, for whatever reason, she doesn't seem to question anything that's going on while this cat is talking to her. He asks her to get a mirror, and he somehow gets chalk and draws out runes on the kitchen floor with the chalk in his mouth, then says some mystic stuff, and they jump through the mirror, which has now become a portal. The duo now arrive in Majestic City, USA, in the Midwest somewhere, and we are introduced to Victor, who turns out is the modern-day descendant of Beowulf. Mooney talks to Victor, who, like Hazel, just goes with it, and Hazel even brings this up, but it's still not explained, and they jump through yet another mirror portal to a house in some woodland clearing. Victor is something of a lost cause, a slacker without a job and no direction in life, a boozer, and a pot-smoking hippie. But he keeps having recurring dreams of his past life as Beowulf, and perhaps Mooney talking to him just seems normal as a result. Whoops. That cover there with the guy flying, that's still Victor. He's got dragon wings. that's the cover to issue 4. And it has the Monarch cover on it, but it's actually a different company now. Issue number 2 features a backup drawn by Elena Amanetti in part 2 of the main story in issue 2. We go to Mooney's special medieval house, where he shows Victor and Hazel a portrait of Beowulf and explains that it's Victor from a past life. However, the questions that should be asked, how the hell are you talking, cat, and why are we acting like this is normal, are not asked, even though they're like, we have questions. Figure that one out. Meanwhile, the dragon has broken out of the strip mine den and is now loose, running around and destroying things. Victor is going through a vision quest to learn of his past self, and Hazel realizes that Mooney is a reincarnation of a past associate of Beowulf / Victor, and she finally asks why he can talk. And that's, of course, because Mooney says he's an empath, so basically he's not actually talking, he's meowing, but mentally projecting human speech into a person's mind so they hear him talk. A cute comment is made about why he didn't tell Hazel he could talk sooner, and then we cut back to Victor's vision quest and training as Beowulf. We see him fight the dragon and kill it in the past, but not at unconsiderable expense to himself. We cut now to modern-day Arkansas, where we see a young man in a playground outside a school run by nuns, and the young man gets the vision of the dragon as well, awaking, and he smiles evilly. Issue 3 hits the ground running. Lots of stuff going on. Victor is given dragon's blood to heal from his near-death experience in his vision by the fairies, and he wakes up with dragon wings and the ability to breathe fire as Denmark is being attacked by the dragon. The boy in Arkansas turns out to be an evil wizard named Attila, who has transported himself to Denmark and plans to get the gold from the mine to use in a spell to control the dragon. Meanwhile, Victor is going through various stages of training and trying to learn his new abilities so that he can defeat the dragon. Pop culture is in the house. Good to see you. Now, I've told you about this in the past, but here's where issue 4 comes in. The new name of the company is Comicsburg, not Monarch Publishing. Lanker joined them shortly before shipping the issue out. So instead of having the Monarch cover in our logo in the top left corner, there's now a Comicsburg logo in the bottom left corner on the cover. But anyway, Victor goes out and fights the dragon, and it doesn't go well at all. No, sir, not well at all. Can Mooney and Hazel join the fight and save Victor and stop the dragon, or is Victor going to wind up a roasted human in a hard armor shell? We don't know, but it's left pretty suspenseful ending there. Next issue, famous last words for Victor? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What do I think? I think the story concept for this series has been great, but the execution is a little too simplistic for my taste. As before I mentioned, I could see so much more depth and range being given to the story. I don't know whether it's because Antonio has some limitations in his ability to draw or not draw things, or if I just see things a little bit different than what Grant Lanker does as the writer versus me as a reader. But the story is enjoyable for what is being presentable. It's enjoyable for what's being presented. It just feels a little bit oversimplified for me. And I wish there was a little more meat to the story, particularly with Hazel, who just feels like a fifth wheel in this book. And, just the girl who happens to be the owner of Mooney. I'm not saying that she has to be a reincarnation of some other historical character, although who knows, she may turn into one later on. I'm just hoping that she has more of a role in the story than she seems to have had so far. In some ways, the work would be suitable for a much younger age group than what I think the target audience is supposed to be. And there are things going on, but the problem is there's too many things going on that are too adult. Victor being an alcoholic and using a bong. There's some cussing. There's other things going on. And that makes the book a little more appropriate for ages 14 to 16 and up, and not younger. If that wasn't in there, I would probably target the book for a much younger audience, like 10 or 11. And then I would say the artwork and everything would be even more appropriate for the audience base. But, I don't know. There's just some things that are missing, in my opinion, and it could have been much stronger. Recommended for ages 14 and up. I give it 2.5 stars because issue 4 really didn't pick up from issue 3 like I hoped it would. Okay. Our next book we got. Well, actually, let me show you some little bit of artwork from BEOWULF here. Again, the artwork is nice. I don't have any problem with it per se. It's just that I would say it's more geared to a younger audience appreciation. A lot of older fans probably might think this art's a little bit too simplistic for their tastes. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's a good target audience for the YA crowd rather than for the more teen adult audience that I think the storyline presents itself more for, in a way. But then again, who knows? And again, here's some more of the artwork, and it's nice, for what it is. I've seen much worse. Okay. Then we go back to modern times here. All right. Next one is This Land, number 1 through 5 for $35 for that's what I spent plus shipping and handling for all 5 issues. The original publisher is Aroha Comics through crowdfunding through Kickstarter. And the writer is Mark Abnett. The artist is Przemysław Dedelis or PR Dedelis. Colors by Lizel Buenaventura. Letters by Hassan Asmani Alhau. Genres postmodern myth and fantasy. The original first 3 issues I bought in October 2021. Issue 4 I got in March of 22, and I just got number 5 last week. Set in the future New Zealand, Aotearoa, there we go. The world has been ripped apart when the Earth's moon was destroyed by a terrorist attack. Technology is dead, and those left behind have been changed by ancient energies being pulled from the Earth. They've been changed into mutants with powers of gods, and now the gods have returned. Sorry about that. If you saw a quick something appear on the screen there in green, that was my web root saying it was done. With its scan. Anyway, they're not happy. The gods have returned. They're not happy with what they found. Helena, which is the lead character, that is the red woman with the kind of like black rockish exterior costume there, is the daughter of Axlin and seemingly the only person who is a godling herself and can understand the fallen deity. She strikes a deal with a vessel of the Maori god Tane and assembles a group of mercenaries against her own people in order to clear her name of false charges and to bring her Wanao, that means family, back from the brink of death. Together they must escort the vessel of the Maori god Tane to a new world in search of the demigod Maui, facing many different adversaries, both worldly and otherworldly alike. This story interweaves a postmodern, post-apocalyptic Earth with the traditional mythologies and histories of the Maori of New Zealand, creating an interesting blend of story as most American audiences know next to nothing of Maori culture or of New Zealand's history. In that respect, it is intended to entertain and educate readers about the culture to a level of degree, or to at least inspire readers to explore other things and learn about the culture through other materials. But the story is not only about Helena and her deal with the fallen deity Tane, but about how mankind, particularly the rich 1%, have ruined the planet with their greed and overuse of resources, which has weakened the state of the planet and destroyed our moon, because we had a terrorist group that actually went and blew up the moon from a space shuttle, which changes the delicate balance of life on Earth as tidal waves are locked instead of changing, our tectonic plates shift, the gravity of the planet shifts, etc. Now, in reality, Earth would just die if our planet lost its moon, but I have to be fair. This does remind me a little bit of the classic Ruby Spears series Thundar the Barbarian in some respects. Anyway, humanity, or rather what's left of it, has managed to survive, but factions have been altered to have mutations and different abilities. Helena and her crew are soon among cave dwellers who can walk up walls. They are the keepers of Earth's past and in the presence of royalty. Soon, secrets are revealed, and a ferocious Tanawa, which is a kind of like a New Zealand mythological kaiju-type creature, is released. Will they make it to their destination of Lake Taupo, where they will learn more about Maui, and why does Tane really want to find Maui? What do I think of it? Well, I think the plot, again, is a little bit too simple, but the world building and the characters are really strong in this series. Very strong, actually, and particularly in the fact that the writer is building from Polynesian folklore and mythology and doing a really good job with the modernization of it. The art by Dedelis and Benaventura is sharp. The character designs are clear, clean, visually engaging, and fun to look at. PR Davies is a relatively fresh face. I believe they started working in comics about 5 years ago, maybe 7 at the outside, but I think it's about 5. And they haven't really been in the spotlight very much, so they're relatively new to audiences, and it's interesting. Their work does seem to be consistently improving from issue to issue as the series has progressed as well. And Mark Abnett, the writer, has a lot of potential. If he were an American author, I would not be surprised to already see him writing for DC or Marvel. Understand that I am not dismissing him because he's a Kiwi in Scotland. He's a New Zealander who lives in Scotland right now. But I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing because this is not his first rodeo. Mark Miller noticed him from Miller World Store stuff, and he's worked for Miller or Millar, and he's done some other things as well before this. And he seems to be having a pretty reasonable, if slow burn to build his name in the business, which is a good thing, I think. He's not being rushed to the fore before he's ready. But I see a lot where he should be a name to be reckoned with as we move forward in the future of comics, or at least in American comics. Now, Scholastic Books New Zealand has also collected this series in trade paperback, and it was released in October as This Land, The Search for Maui. Now, if only Scholastic Books America will get with the program and do the same thing, that would be great, because I think it deserves to be there. And I think it would be a really good move for putting it into where people will find it. And if they did that, he wouldn't have to worry about crowdfunding. Now, that being said, Scholastic in any division anywhere in the world picking you up and publishing you is a pretty solid sign that you're doing something right. So there you go. Originally, when I looked at issues 1 through 3 back in 2021, I said that this book was for 13 and up. But now that I've seen Scholastic is carrying it, even if only in New Zealand, I think I need to possibly reconsider my age base for this. So let's say ages 10 and up, okay? I think that a 5th grader could read and keep up with this series. Maybe the story skews a little bit older because of the general lack of knowledge, not ignorance. The general lack of knowledge for American audiences of Maori and New Zealand tribal history. But again, I do think that this actually gives readers a reason to go explore that culture and learn about it. And if you do, I think you'll find that this is a really cool, unique thing. And you want unique comics like this in your comics shops or in your bookstores. Again, recommended for ages 10 and up. I give it a 4-star out of 5 rating. Here's some of the artwork. Again, this is line art by PR Davies with colors by Liesl Buenaventura. I see a lot of similarity to different styles that are becoming more and more popular today. I can see that, if for some reason Davies was to leave this book, I could see Andy Tong taking over the series. I could see a couple of other artists as well who are in that same vein. But overall, I'm pretty interested in seeing where this goes in the future. I'd love to get, like I said, I really think that Scholastic America should be getting this book into their hands and getting it into the mass market in schools here in America. And here's some more of the artwork. Pop Culture comments that this series looks well done. Yes, it does. It really does. North Free is in the house. Hail Raven and Pop Culture Adventure. Yay, we see you. We see you. It turns out that North Free was having some issues getting his posts not showing up in the chat, and it wasn't even showing up in the chat records. I seem to be having a similar problem with Aaron LaPresti's page. I talked to Aaron recently about this today, and he was like, it was like I thought he was like blowing me off or something, you know, and he wasn't. He's like, no, I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry. no. So that was good news. Turned out that it might be a glitch with YouTube, and clear your cookies and clear your browser-based history, and hopefully you won't have that problem in the future. Just letting you guys know if you ever run into that problem on a YouTube chat, folks. Anyway, that is all of the books I had a chance to read for crowdfunding this week. I had meant to read some other stuff, but I've been really, really busy this week. A lot of stuff that just kind of hit me this week all at once. But I've got like people coming and going to do house repairs, hopefully between this week and next. I got to take my cat to the vet to get his rabies and other annual checkup done this week, or next week rather. It was supposed to be done today, but I'd forgotten to schedule it, so it's next week. Don't clean, smoke your cookies free. Okay, whatever. So anyway, as I said at the opening of the show, we do have the holidays coming up, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, winter solstice, whatever you happen to celebrate. And that means it's time to start looking for stuff to possibly buy. And, well, maybe you'll get some stuff that you can get now, like those books. Maybe you can order those books from those people. Or you can check out some other crowdfunding. Let's look at what we have. We have Vampire Detective in Space, number 1 through 3. A vampire detective solves mysteries with the help of the snarky AI companion. It has passed its goal. Hold on a second. I only celebrate Festivus. Well, whatever you celebrate. Norfree, Midnight to the Vet. Pity the vet handling that monster. Actually, he's really good at the vet. The main problem is when he gets out of his cage, he wants to take a flying leap and climb up the side of the counter or the side of the cabinets. And if he does that and you let him do that, you're not going to get him down because they don't have a ladder high enough. So, and the thing is, he can do it. So I have to be very careful and hold him down until he calms down. But once he's calmed down, they tend to be pretty. They've never had a problem with him at all. So there's that. Anyway, 5,208 of their pledged $5,000 goal, so we know that it's going to be fulfilled. They got 217 backers with 19 days to go. What is this bad boy about?
Hello, my name is Caleb Palmquist, and I am the writer and creator of Vampire Detective in Space. The series is illustrated by Dave Swartz and lettered by Dave Lentz. We are back on Kickstarter with issue 3, which continues the story of James, the 1,000-year-old vampire detective, and his sidekick, the snarky AI Liz, as they solve a murder mystery. On this campaign, you can get the new issue or catch up on all 3 issues. We are also offering a variant cover by Jonathan Fisher and a sticker and trading cards. Thanks for checking out the campaign, and I hope to see you behind the backer wall.
And not much there to say, but that's fine. The last vampire in the galaxy is a detective. He's over 1,000 years old, or about 1,000 years old. He's got a floating head computer AI companion, and they're trying to solve mysteries on a giant space station. And it's about doomed relationships and personal discovery with dark comedy thrown in. Character looks interesting. If you like the hard-boiled detective, cyberpunk, vampires, you liked Altered Carbon or Blade Runner, you will possibly like this book. Issue number 3 is nearly complete. Digital version will be sent out once the Kickstarter is concluded. Physical version will be sent to print as soon as Kickstarter money comes in, and they can get everything scheduled and shipped out. You got the digital edition, standard edition, and a variant cover, plus a new sticker and trading cards. There's 32 pages of story from issue 1, 26 pages of story for issue 2, and 24 pages only. Geez, every issue you go a little bit lower in the story page count? That's not nice. And then there's the alternate cover. Alternate cover really doesn't do much for me there. I like the regular covers. The skeleton detective sticker looks cool. Apparently there's trading cards. We missed series 1 and 2, of course. But, okay. You can get a preview here of issues 1 and 2. I'm not really worried about that too much. Artwork looks decent. You can get a few more stickers. Oh, you can get the trading cards as add-ons from the previous 2 campaigns. So you can still get the trading cards if you want them. And you can also get issues of Unicorn Vampire Hunter as additional add-ons, which is another comic series that Palmquist writes, apparently. Something new I didn't hear about before. So there you go. That's drawn by Daryl Toe. So there you go. I guess there's a role-playing game that goes with it, too. So there's quite a bit of stuff there to go there. Let's see what they want to charge us. $12 for the standard for number 3, $14 for the other one. Okay. How much for the full catch-up? 31. That's about right. Okay. Is that? Okay, no, that's the all-in for number 3. The physical catch-up is 34. That gets you 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. How much is this? Well, that's $100. Okay. Then you get all the variants of all the issues and a whole bunch of other stuff. And to get all the trading cards and everything costs about $100. Wow, that's a lot for everything, in a way. I don't see the add-ons. So how much they would, I don't know how much they would charge for the add-ons you want, because I don't need a coin, and I don't need variant covers for every issue and all that nonsense. So what I'll probably end up doing, if I back this, is just get the physical catch-up for 34, and then whatever, maybe get the trading cards as a backup, as an add-on. But let's see. Oh, Midnight would be a good character in my comic book. Actually, I'm going to do... I'm not going to do something. I'm thinking about doing something with one of my other characters where Midnight might be in the book, so to speak. We'll see. Nor says look forward to the Godzilla artwork being finished. That's this weekend. I'll be working on that. Later this month, you start the comic. I don't know if it'll be later this month or in December, because I'm going to start drawing. I have to do a lot of artwork for a store appearance for Black Friday after Thanksgiving. I'll be doing a store appearance locally here in Columbia, and so I'll be focusing on that. And then what I'm going to do is once that's over, then I'll sit down and I'll start doing some things, but I'm also going to be selling artwork a lot this between now and the end of the year. But definitely you'll see breakdowns of some of the first few pages done. And then probably drawing in earnest for Spacey probably once season 5 starts in January, but it depends on how fast I can get through the breakdowns. Okay, now let's see. This is the Kickstarter address for that. And of course, all the links to all of these Kickstarters is in the description of this video as well. Like I said, I'll probably get the physical catch-up because I did not get these, and then I'll see how much the trading cards cost, if I want to bother or not. Okay, our next one is going to be from J.M. DeMatteis. It's called Surprise, 4 Secret Comics by J.M. DeMatteis, also known as the DeMultiverse. There's 4 new comics written by J.M. DeMatteis, popular writer of Spider-Man. He wrote Kraven's Last Hunt. He wrote his Defenders. He's written Justice League with Keith Giffen, the Bwahaha League. So if you're probably familiar with his work. He's co-created 4 different series, one with Tom Mandrake of Spectre fame, Sean McManus, Matthew Dow Smith, and David Baldion. Matthew Dow Smith and David Baldion were members of Oterna Comics, I believe, at one point, if I remember correctly. And there's a superhero series, a fantasy series, a Western series, and more. They had a pledged goal of a little over 10,000. I got over 52,000. Now, this one you got to hurry up and buy. There's only 38 hours left on the project. I just found this like literally 25 minutes ago. So I'm just learning about it myself. Let's see what they got to say.
Hi, this is J.M. DeMatteis. I've been writing comic books for, longer than some of you watching this have been alive. Everything from Spider-Man to Justice League, Captain America to Batman, creator-owned series like Moonshadow, The Girl and the Babe, Blooded Tit. Well, if I can go through all my credits, we're going to be here for the rest of the day. And I want to talk to you about something brand new. It's my first ever Kickstarter, which is also my second, third, and fourth ever Kickstarter, because we're doing something really special here. We are launching 4 new series with 4 amazing artists in 4 different genres, 4 different styles. It's something new. It's something exciting. Welcome to the DeMultiverse. First up is Layla in the Lands of After, an all-ages fantasy illustrated by Sean McManus. Layla is the story of a 13-year-old girl who finds herself transported to a magical land where trees read your thoughts, rivers sing, and animals talk. But Layla soon discovers that this isn't Oz or Wonderland. She's dead, and this is the afterlife. Refusing to accept her fate, and with the help of a few friends she meets along the way, Layla is determined to return to the land of the living and the loved ones she left behind. But will the creatures lurking in the darkness let her? Next is Wisdom, a supernatural Western brought to visual life by Tom Mandrake. Wisdom is the tale of Gabriel Wisdom, a devoted husband and father, actor and stage magician, and in time, a murderous gunfighter and formidable sorcerer, tasked with saving the planet from a supernatural war that could consume all of humanity. But Gabriel cares less about the world and more about his wife and daughter who have been kidnapped and corrupted by dark forces. It's Deadwood meets the Lord of the Rings in an epic fantasy played out against the backdrop of the Old West. Then there's Godsend, drawn by Matthew Dow Smith. Godsend begins with the sudden appearance of a celestial being who might be a force for global salvation or global destruction. Who is this being? Where did he come from? And why is insecure and unremarkable junior high school teacher Eric Small so obsessed with him? Even Eric's not sure. Maybe the half-turtle, half-man currently standing in Eric's living room will have answers. Godsend is a reality-shredding story with echoes of Jack Kirby's New Gods, Philip K. Dick, and The Matrix. And finally, there's Any Man, co-created with my Ben Reilly Spider-Man partner David Baldion. In the late 1960s, a hero from millions of years in the past arrives to rescue a modern world in crisis. Over 5 decades, Any Man becomes the inspiring symbol of all that's good in humanity, the superhero the entire world reveres. There's just one problem. Everything we know about him is a lie. Who is Any Man really? Or perhaps the better question is, who are they? And who is the savage doppelganger intent on destroying Any Man and his mysterious creators? Each of our 4 titles will be available as individual issues and as part of a big collected trade paperback, which will be filled with all kinds of extra sketches. I'm going to write introductions to each of the stories, talking about how they were developed. Plus, we'll have an introduction by Marvel Comics legend Tom DeFalco. And now for the really cool part, because this is where all of you come in. Anyone who purchases all 4 of our The Multiverse titles or purchases our The Multiverse collection gets to vote on which title goes to series first. We love to launch them all at once, but the realities of making comics means we have to do them one at a time, and you get to choose. You are determining the course of my career, and at no additional charge. This is the most excited I've been about a project probably in my entire career. And your support is so important because it's not only going to ensure that this campaign is a success, but it will ensure the success of the Multiverse going forward. So please look around, look at our amazing, amazing rewards that we're offering. Please tell your friends about it. This is the journey of a lifetime for me, and I would love it if you could all come along with me, because you know what? We can't do it without you. Thank you.
Well, that was interesting. Every one of those is pretty interesting. Let's see what they got going on here. I've always liked Dave Matisse, so it's quite different to, I wish I'd seen more of this and had a chance to get him on the show to talk about these more, because I would have done that. All backers who purchase a complete set of all 4, or the trade paperback, or both if you're a true completist, you'll be contacted after the campaign to vote on which of the 4 books you enjoyed the most, and the title that receives the most votes will be the first to continue to a full series. Okay. But only one gets greenlit to series. So you have to pick which one you like, and then you get issues 2 of 5 of the winning series based on the popular choice. Here are the 4 22-page full title eligible backers will be voting on. Of course, Any Man is drawn by David Baldion, and it is, like you said, the storyline is about the alien comes back, and is there more than one of him, and everything that we knew about him was a lie and stuff. Okay, fine. Godsend, superhero, alien, or celestial being. Matthew Dow Smith. I know him from something. Let me look him up real quick. Okay, he's been around a lot longer than I thought. Okay, I was thinking of him from something that isn't what I was thinking for Alterna. He's actually he's worked on Doctor Who, Deathlock, Generation X, Nightcrawler, Astronauts in Trouble, Sandman Mystery Theater, a whole bunch of other stuff. So, okay, that makes more sense now. All right. Pardon me. Described as Jack Kirby meets The Matrix meets Philip K. Dick. Sounds like some something that Ted Davies and his friends would like. Layla in the Lands of After, drawn by Sean Sandman McManus from Moonshadow and Abazad Imaginalis. Yeah, those are stuff that JM's written before. This is that sort of field again, and that looked interesting to me. Wisdom is the least interesting to me. Yes, Tom Mandrake, but if you just been following Aaron Lepresti and Wraith of God and Wisdom are very similar. In a lot of ways. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the lead heroes in both stories is named Gabriel. So that and they're both kind of like stage magicians and stuff in the story. So that was kind of interesting that they had that there. I mean, obviously he's going to go a little bit different, and there's going to be a different take, and Tom's art is certainly different from Aaron's, so it'll be a different story. But it's quite interesting. They got different guest cover artists, J.H. Williams for Layla variant cover. There's Liam Sharp's cover to the Multiverse trade paperback, if you want to get the trade paperback. Now they've added a fifth title, the Edward Gloom Mysteries. Wow. Okay. That was not expected. Let me see what. And there's so much of this stuff. You pay $10, $12 or more, you get PDFs. Okay. Let's see. All right. 12 for PDF. How much for the actual books? 15. No, that's PDF. All right. Okay, no, it's 15 for the comic and the PDF. All right. 15 per book. Okay, how much is all the books? Or all 5 books now. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. You may, I don't know. I'm going to, well, it's so much tight and late, I don't have time to ask him. Interesting. A lot of stuff here. Let's go ahead and share the. Monster fans in the house. Good to see you there. Okay. Let's see. Here is the Multiverse Kickstarter. Go ahead and check that out and reread more of it. I don't know here. Quite interesting here. They got a lot of cool stuff in this. What's going on? Okay. Yeah, this is the stuff that he did with A Gust of Wind. Okay, yeah. Lots of stretch goals. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Best thing I can do is tell you to go to the actual Kickstarter page. I guess there's some sort of Batman book that's out today that you guys are talking about. I didn't get to go to the comic shop today. I'll go tomorrow. I was kind of like busy today because, well, as you guys might remember, about a month ago, I had a surgical procedure. And yesterday I got a nice bill from my doctor. And I was like, why did I get a bill? I paid it in cash on the day of the operation. They kind of screwed it up. And unfortunately, for some reason, the cashier took $45 off that they weren't supposed to. So they sent me a bill for $45, which is, not a big deal. But when you think you've paid your bill, it's like, what's going on? But anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to look more into this one, this Kickstarter. I like most of the ideas. There's T-shirts available as add-ons. He's really got a nice campaign here. It's just that, you can get original Tom Mandrake original sketches. There's 2 left of 3. So I don't know how much those cost, $111 or more. That's actually not bad. Interesting. Okay. The whole kit and caboodle. That's $150. You can get a personal chat with Matisse himself. That's no big deal. Not my thing, per se. $350. You get drawn into the book. I think it's a little bit expensive. Okay, for 10 copies, well, I don't know about that retailer bundle setup, but okay. Unfortunately, we missed the early bird, which would have helped, probably. I wish I'd seen this. Yeah. So there's some that are no longer available, unfortunately, because I found this way too late. But anyway, go ahead and check this one out. I think it's worth checking out, and I'll let you know what I end up getting on this one. Oh, okay. The book is older than North and probably in better shape. Well, that's good to know. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one, which is Shook, which is a black horror anthology, which, I really don't care if it's all black creators or not. It's just, the idea of a nice horror anthology comic, but it just so happens that all the creators are black. So let's just go ahead and look at it.
Just a little bit of background. My name is John Jennings, and I'm one of the editors of this wonderful collection of ghoulishness by people from the African diaspora. So my studio, John Jennings Studios LLC, is doing a partnership with Second Sight Studios, the good brothers who are putting out really, really wonderful Southern, fried, and other types of horror across the board. So we actually started discussing our shared interests and like why we love horror and things of that nature. And we're of a certain age. So projects like EC Comics and Warren Magazine's black and white horror magazines were something that really kind of sculpted the way we thought about horror coming up in our formative years. So myself, Bradley, and Marcus decided to put our skulls together, so to speak, and come up with Shook, a black horror anthology, and basically did a call out for some of the top writers of horror and dark fiction who happen to be brothers of color, and that's where Shook came from. So the logo itself is very much inspired by EC Comics, shock suspense stories, and basically we wanted to put together kind of like a cornucopia of scary stories that happen to be written by Black folk, you know, from the diaspora. So that's kind of the skinny as far as I see it, but I think it's gonna be a great collection. I'm looking forward to working with it, and please definitely support it because it's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of like scary stuff jumping off, and yeah, I'm excited for it to come out.
Okay, as you can see, this project is only at 36% of its goal. 22 days to go. It's going to be 160 pages plus. They have a lot of good writers connected to this. But let's take a quick look. Again, it's from Second Sight Publishing and John Jennings Studio. Let's look at their list of writers. Rodney Barnes, who was an Eisner Award nominee, BET Comedy Award nominee, Peabody Award winner, NAACP Image Award winner for Boondocks. He wrote for Everybody Hates Chris and other things. Kevin Graveau, Eisner Award nominee. Of course, Kevin Graveau is also the creator of the I can't think of the name of the films. They have Kate Beckinsale as the vampire hunter Celine, so you'll probably know which one I'm talking about with the werewolves and the vamps fighting each other. David Walker, of course, is multiple Eisner Award winner of co-creator of Bitter Root and Black Panther. Wrote Naomi for DC. Wrote Shaft Comics. Alvin Ball, Marcus H. Roberts, Bradley Golden, John Jennings, Brandon Easton. Really, it's not a murderer's row per se. Like it's not like we're facing the 27 Yankees here, but all of these writers are established, well received, proven commodities. I'm not going to go into all of the individual stories. Art, Flavio Cortez. Here's some of the artwork from that story. That's certainly gross and interesting looking, isn't it? That's John Jennings again. Charlie Goubelet, good artist. Looks like another type of zombie story there. Okay. Jamal Williams, good artist again. Roberto Castro, we've got some good stuff here overall, you know. So, you know, if you like Shudder or you like the other type of stuff here, this might be of some interest to you. Yeah, I know. That's, you know, that is my one turn off on it, is that having it all be all black creators any more than all white creators. It kind of, some people are offended by that, and I understand that. If that's a turn off for you, North, I totally get that. Underworld, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, was Underworld for Kevin Graveau. Thank you. Let's see what they want for the actual book. $35 for a 160-page plus You get a print, and you get a print copy of the book, a limited poster, a sketch card, stickers, bookmark, and buttons. For $50, you get the digital PDF with that. Okay, and you get a special bookmark. Okay, blackout tier. You get a blackout cover. Okay, different cover. Okay, fine. Platinum tier. You get a platinum edition version of the book. Okay, whatever. Is there anything else here? Gold tier. Yeah, I don't care about cover. A platinum edition. Okay, what is that? Silver embossed cover, gold embossed cover. Who cares? That's not important to me. Retailers getting 5 copies of the book for $100. That's 20 versus the 35. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Then there's another for the foil covers. Okay. You can get a signet ring, signed comic by Kevin Graveau. Okay. We're including I, Frankenstein cover comics and Underworld comics signed by Graveau. Autographed photos of probably Graveau and other people. I'm assuming that has to do with Graveau because everything checks with him on that. Candyman print tier. You'll get an original print art from the recently released Candyman movie, illustrated by John Dennings. Okay. Or John Jennings. All right. Interesting. Blue Marvel. That's another thing by Kevin Graveau. Signed by him. All right. Yeah, I'm not really worried about any of that stuff. Why would the Bitter Root be signed by John Jennings? The ultra rare variant of Bitter Root #1 should be signed by someone else. Because John isn't the one who does Bitter Root. That's David. So David should be signing that. That's kind of weird. Okay. Again, some of these prices are a little bit more crazy for me on the pledges. I think I'll just go with the regular pledge tier. Get the print copy and the stuff that they want, and that's fine for me, I think. Let's see what other stuff you got in here. Rodney Barnes, okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. There's David's stuff. Okay, they haven't said exactly what David's stuff is yet. Okay. There's Brandon, and Brandon's stuff hasn't pardon me. His stuff hasn't been announced officially yet. Okay, got it. Stretch goals, you get more stuff. All right. I'm not really worried about the stretch goals. But let's go ahead and Monster, you might need to clear your cookies and your your cookie and your history cache on your browser. There's something going on with YouTube with that lately. That's why something are going on with the I couldn't get seen over at Aaron Lopresti's page, and then North's been having problems here, so I don't know what's going on with that. okay, why is the point not to be made that this is by the black creators? Because you guys have been ignoring these black creators for 20 fucking years, and they're some of the best writers on the goddamn planet. That's why. Okay? I'm not going to mince words with you on that. The industry has been ignoring these guys forever, and only in the last 5 or 6 years have they really started getting any notice. And I'm kind of, I understand their perspective, but yes, it gets annoying when they do it this way. But they wouldn't have to do this if people actually paid attention to them and supported them when they just normally do things on their own, and it's not a big deal. That's the main reason why that's done, unfortunately. But anyway, that's another thing. Live chat or top chat. That's true. I didn't think about that. But yeah, again, yes, I agree. If it's all black, I don't really care one way or the other. Neither do you guys. People with normal common sense don't care. But these guys would be putting this stuff out a lot more often and would be seen in the audience, in the market more if we actually did that. Notice it does not appear that even their own community is supporting them. I don't know about that or not, because I don't know. I know that the black people in this community are supporting these guys because I know some of the guys personally. I know David. I know Brandon. I know Sanford Green. Sanford actually lives here in Columbia. So I get to see them and I get to talk to them on a more regular basis. They seem to be getting some support with the black community in more recent time. But a lot of their stuff it's not so much whether or not the black creator community or fan community supports them. You can't be supported if retailers don't carry you. And retailers don't want to carry anybody. And, yes, race is part of it. It's not the only reason of it. But, that's kind of what the fight's been about with this whole Comicsgate thing is whether it's race, whether it's gender, whether it's sexuality, whether it's ageism, whatever. The retailers need to get off their asses and start putting books that actually deserve to be marketed to the audience out there on their shelves and market them instead of worrying about selling books that aren't worth crap. Yes, they are only at 33% of the goal. Hold on a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's see. How many days left did they have, though? 22 days, which means they only opened it 8 days ago. To get 126 backers in 8 days is not bad, considering. Now, it should be a lot more, given who's all attached. But are these guys getting marketed to anybody? I don't know. I happen to come across them because they're in my circle of people I'm aware of. But are they getting, is Ethan Van Sciver mentioning these guys? Is anybody from the professionals mentioning them? Or, are we playing click group nonsense? Probably the latter. And if it's click group nonsense, they're going to get buried by the white noise. Pardon the phrase. But that's what's going to happen. Unless somebody like me comes up and says, hey, check this out. But, and then let's face it, I'm drowned out anyway. Because nobody watches my show. But anyway, hold on a second. Okay, there you go. I got people hitting me from 4 different directions here. What's going on? It's not the companies, it's the retailers. The companies have always been there putting out Black creators, but you got to buy them if they're there. Yep. You got it, North. That's exactly what's going on. You can't say mainstream companies are keeping Black creators down right now, because that's who's working on the Marvel and DC books. A lot of them are Black. A lot of them are doing stuff. I mean, Brandon's been doing, what was it? The new Mr. Miracle. And, Kevin Graveau did the Blue Marvel for Marvel, and he's been doing other books for Marvel as well. John Jennings has written for DC lately. The history of the Black DCU or whatever is, I think that was by John, written by John. And all we've heard about it, that these guys are actually getting any kind of work at all in social media is, why are they getting work? They're Black. That's the only reason they're getting work, because they're Black. No, I disagree. Strong disagree with that. Are you really telling me that, I mean, this is on par with what's normal stuff that's going on in the market right now. I wouldn't call that grade school or middle school art, but especially not that. That's not middle school art. That's on par with Andy Smith. That's on par with Kevin Sharp. Easily. Now, I'm not saying you have to like that stuff. You may not like Andy Smith. You might not like Kevin Sharp. You might not like a lot of the modern white artists, but I wouldn't say that this is lesser than what other people are doing. I would not say that this art is lesser than stuff I've seen coming out from standard other people that are getting published right now at Marvel and DC. The coloring's a little bit wonky, but I wouldn't say that the actual art is, the line art is actually about the same for a lot of this, for better or for worse. I'm trying to think of who this art reminds me of. It's a cleaner, open version of Dennis Cowan. And Dennis has been around for years. Of course, Dennis is not a Black artist, but Dennis has been working since the 70s. But, if it's not your taste, that's not your taste. That's fine. I just wouldn't say it's grade school. You need both, and the truth is we've got a lot of good writers. What we don't have is good editors, and we got a lot of writers who are trying to be fan writers rather than be comics writers, and there's a difference. That was a conversation that you guys missed out on from what I had. From last Thursday after the show. Why can't I think of his name? Was Jamie Jones. We were talking about different people that are popular right now, like Steve Orlando and Vita Ayala, and some of the other ones that are getting in, how they got in, why they got in, what are they doing, and why are they doing it the way they're doing it. And a lot of it has to do with corporate agenda and what corporates want them to write and how they want them to write, rather than what they would be doing on their own if left to their own, not necessarily to their own devices. You still have to have some editorial direction given you, but you're kind of like restricted in a lot of ways. Most of the bigger comic stores carry all the big 2 titles, so are retailers to blame if the books don't sell? Should they continue to purchase books that don't sell? First off, they don't carry all the big 2 titles. They carry about 45 to 60% of the big 2 titles. They carry the big name brands and then let the second and third tier titles languish or not even order them on that. Secondly, one of the big problems that retailers face is when Marvel and DC are trying to foist books that are marketed on you. You have to spend your extra budget on these extra covers that one fan might want, or one customer wants, and they got to buy extra 25 copies to get that one cover. Now, sure, they can charge that one customer an extra bunch of money to make up for what they spent getting those extra copies, but that still means their budget is tied up and they can't buy other books with that money. So what's happening is they got a bunch of extra books that they can't sell because they're pandering to someone who doesn't need some extra variant BS cover. That happens a lot. The other thing is that fans are tired of excessive number of books featuring the same characters. It doesn't matter who's writing it or drawing it. You can't afford it at $5 a book. So a lot of the retailers don't. Are retailers unreachable? Can you contact them somehow to voice your opinion? I've been voicing this opinion for 30 years north. I used to do a bet called the Bright Raven Bet back when comics were more affordable. I can't afford to do it these days. But it used to be, how many copies of Batman do you sell? Well, let's say they sell 30 copies of Batman. I say, okay, order me 30 copies of Bone, 30 copies of Strangers in Paradise, 30 copies of Hellboy, 30 copies of list of titles. And I would come into the store and I would sell those books out before they sold out of their 30 copies of Batman. And if I didn't, I would eat. In other words, I'd buy the remainders of whatever's left of those books. And I did this in hundreds of stores across the country throughout the 90s, back when comics were still $1.95 to $2.95 instead of $5 a book. And it was very successful for me, but it pissed off a lot of retailers because inevitably what happens is when you start marketing standalone books, regardless of what it is, and you start building audience, part of what builds that audience for other books is taking readers who are disenchanted with the franchise books because there's too many books to follow or too many things going on that they don't like. You take them away from that book. Well, if I turn you on to, say, I take you off of X-Men and I put you on, say, Perhapanauts, well, you're not going to just quit X-Men. You're going to quit X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men Red, Blue, Gold, Green, Purple, Chartreuse and Puce, whatever, X-Force, X-Factor, etc. And that's, the way it is. And so if I sell you one title and you dropped all those books, the retailers lost money. They don't like that. So they don't want to promote a lot of those standalone series, regardless of who the creators are and wherever things are. Now, Pop says, stores around you get all the big 2 titles. I guarantee you they do not, Pop. Number one, you'll have to show me. You'll have to go get a video and show me every single book that's listed in the catalog, and they got to get them to equal numbers and sell equal across. not 65 of X-Men and 6 copies of Ms. Marvel. That's what I'm talking about. If you're marketing straight through, you're selling through equilaterally across your line. And a lot of retailers don't do that, partly because they can't anymore. There's too many books, too many things for people to follow. But, there was a day where I bought every single DC and Marvel book. I know that there's, it used to be that way, but I don't know. I don't see it that way anymore. Even half the stores I go to here in Columbia have maybe pull lists, but nothing for the shelf. So, and yes, everywhere is different. I've been to stores where you walk in and there was no Vertigo books. Why? Because the retailer told me goths only read Vertigo and there's no goths in this area. That was his exact words. So thankfully he's long out of business now, but that's, the kind of stuff that goes on, unfortunately. But yeah, I used to make that bet with so many retailers in this country that it's ridiculous. Diamond, it's more DC and Marvel played it, not Diamond. I mean, Diamond didn't help, true enough, but the retailers screwed themselves. They let capital die. When Marvel went and bought out Heroes World and DC became exclusive to Diamond, which led Image to go exclusive to Diamond, and you had all this exclusivity crap to Diamond. And so Diamond was carrying DC, Image, Dark Horse, Valiant. Marvel had their own at Heroes World. And then you had the rest of the market, which was literally 10 times larger than all 6 of those publishers put together. And Capital could have had that, but the retailers didn't want to do it because they didn't want to do the extra paperwork and handle the extra expenses of doing business, which is standard practice in any retail business. Almost every retail business you have uses multiple distribution sources. But when they ended up doing that, Diamond was never supportive of indie comics, particularly. And that's what injured that market in the 90s, and it's never recovered since. Now, the other issue is, of course, that the 80s back then, okay, hold on. Let's see equal numbers, but titles are usually present. But how do you expect a retailer to order 60 Batman and 60 the bad title? Batman's a bad title, dude. So don't hand me that crap. Okay? I don't, Batman's a bad title. I'm sorry, it is right now. It's just corporate brand recognition versus, you're selling a brand, not quality. There's a difference. I would take Batman off the damn printer and throw it in an incinerator right now. I'm sorry, no. The only reason they sell Batman is because there's Batman, Nightwing, Batwing, Catwoman, Batgirl, Catgirl, Robin, Red Robin, Alfred Pennyworth Adventures, and all the other extra bullshit. If I cut it back down to one freaking Batman book, that book ain't going to sell 60 books. I guarantee you. Mm-hmm. And I market other titles by other writers from DC. That's why books like Black Lightning, Cold Dead Hands by Tony Isabella only sold 17,000 copies when it first launched, because that same month, Batman had 7 number ones the same month. They had that, the Joker Batman. And so, no, they had like 7 Batman number ones, and they buried all the other number ones that were released from DC that month. You can't do that and expect books to be successful. Well, I mean, it's not just an example, though. I mean, it can be X-Men, it could be Spider-Man, it can be Avengers, any of these brands that Marvel and DC foist on you. It is the laziness and ineptitude of the retailer who says, okay, I'm going to try to force the reader into these brands so that they'll buy multiple books at once, rather than building individual sales for each title you market. And the proper way is the latter. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it's not a pain in the ass to have to do. It is. You have to be more aware of what the books are. You have to be more aware of the quality of the level and what market is for which audiences and who to target what books to. And with the amount of books out there being pushed out by there, it becomes extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. That's what you think. You're dead wrong on that too. Sorry, Monster Fan. There's a lot of woke writers on that book, on those books right now. No. It may not be what you see. That's the whole thing. I don't know if you guys know who is woke and who isn't, but it doesn't really matter. As North says, Batman's kept DC afloat for more than 2 decades. Yeah, DC is Batman, and maybe Superman a little bit. But it's not just the Batman titles. I mean, it's everything there. You've got too many Justice League books, too many Superman titles. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's bad. The only Batman book I would even consider touching is the animated series version, and that's written by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett, I think, right now. But and even that is still modernized somewhat to what's going on with the canon of the other stuff. It's just better written and more. Just better written. But it's more in line with the stuff. It's both. I agree with you saying. I also blame DC for that. I do. But when you have retailers and fans saying, Isabella's out of touch because he's in his 70s and he's a white dude writing a black character, and even though he's the creator of Black Lightning and was actually on the development team for the CW TV series, this is during the time when Black Lightning is on the CW, and they're not marketing Black Lightning as a premiere book on their lineup because they're too busy doing the Batman who laughs, the Batman who cries, the Batman who swings his dick in the shadows. It's sad, and it was a really good series, but it was just completely overlooked. It started out with 17,000 nationwide, and by the time the 6 issues were done, it was down to like maybe 7,000 unit sales nationwide between 2,500 accounts. So you're talking about three copies a store for a book that has a character that has over 3 million viewers every week at that time. That's not, first off, the retailer should have enough common sense just on logic. Well, hey, this is a TV show. I should be marketing this book. Even if DC isn't, I should. But they're not. So North Free. Paul Dini wrote it. Yeah, Paul Dini writes, I don't have the catalogs right here. Hold on a second. If I can figure it out. Not the Batman Adventures, because that's the older stuff. Shoot. The Adventures Continue. Batman: The Adventures Continue. Let me see if I can. Here we go. I'll do a quick screen share with that. This is season 2. They're in season 3 now. It's written by Alan Burnett, and Paul Dini, drawn by Ty Templeton, and colored by Monica Cabina. And this is Batman versus the Court of Owls, 13 plus, and of course it has Deadman in there, as you can see. And I don't know what year. When did this come out exactly? That was May of last year. And like I said, they're in season 3 or season 4 now of the arcs that they're doing. But that's the only thing I even come close to touching with Batman anymore is that series. Mm-hmm. Or DC could just not publish 7 Batman books that didn't need to be made. When you already had 12 books out, you don't need to produce 7 new number 1s. And remember, you could say, well, you could put it out a month before or after. No, because those 6, 7 titles are still competing with him, issue 2, issue 3, either way. So no, it's the fact that they're just flooding the market with Batman when you don't need to. And you still need to market the book, whatever you make. And it's not just Isabella's book. There was Demon Hell on Earth. There was Mystic U, which was a Zatanna in College series. There was Ragman. There was a Deadman miniseries. 4 or 5 other second to third tier characters that, for those of us who are sick and tired of Batman or sick and tired of Superman, that's what we want. But you go in the store and they're not there because the retailers already spent their budget on that other stuff. Mm-hmm. That's, it's the same thing with X books, or Spider books. How many Spider books do you need? You don't need Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen, and don't forget your Spider-Ham, etc. I'm not going to go into the whole song and dance, but it's not fun. But it was that way even 30 years ago, though. It wasn't as bad as it is today. And the market being that books were more $1 to $1.95, you could afford to buy all the Batman books and still have money left over. But when you're talking about books at $5 a pop, now $4.99, people can't afford it. And that's why the books are at that price range, because people got tired of this. And now the print runs for the books, demand for the books is so much smaller that prices go up. So, I don't know. But anyway, we can skip on ahead to the next thing. You guys remember Ted Davies, hopefully. He did Retrieve and Grim 101. It's been a while since he's been on my show. He recently opened up a new you say when you don't need to, but Batman related titles are the only ones selling for DC. Again, let me put it this way. I can cut the damn Batman titles down. I can cut all this extraneous bullshit down from Marvel and DC. I can cut all the fat, if you will. Get the writing and the storyline stronger, lower the price points, and I can guarantee you I can get the sales to go through the roof. Quadruple, quintuple the sales of what they got right now. Remember, now, most of these books are only selling between 40 and 80,000. I'm talking about getting them up to 250, 300,000 unit sales again, instead of, screwing around and, it's like one book selling as many as they take 5 to sell now. the reason they're doing it isn't because there's a demand for it in the audience base. There's a demand for it with creators who all want to work on the same character because they don't have the imagination or the talent to take the other characters that aren't being used and make them interesting, which means they're probably not good enough to be in the business. But anyway, Ted, as I was saying, he was on his channel earlier today. And he opened up a new store. So I want to go ahead and share that real quick. It is a Square site. I don't know if you guys have seen one of those before. There is his address. Now, this is the original artwork. So you see these higher stage prices. These are the actual original artwork pieces that he's selling, but you can get books and prints and other things. So let's just go ahead and go look for the books. There's the Retrieve books. Now, if you don't remember, this book has actually been optioned and is in development for a film in Hollywood as we speak, and so is Grimm 101. So you can get book number 1, second printing, book number 2, second printing for $5 each. You can pre-order book number 3 for release supposedly fall 2022. I don't remember the Kickstarter for that. I'll have to talk to you about that. That's 10. The Grimm 101 soft cover. Now that's not a comic. That's a prose fiction book with illustrations for book 1 and book 2. There's also a leather-bound hardcover with red for book 1 and green for book 2. And then there's also Albino Zulu, which is more like a mini comic for $3. Now, I have also, I've gotten all of these things. I've had Retrieve, I've got Grimm 101, the regular softcover editions, and I have Albino Zulu, and I've reviewed all of them in the past. Usually in a 3.5 to 4 range for what he does and how he does it. Might not be to some of your tastes, and that's fine. Prints, well, he does have prints available, darn it. Figures, let's see what he's doing. Okay, I gotta go to all items. I hate when you do this. Because I don't really want to go into these higher priced original art. I mean, all this stuff is giant watercolor and oil and gouache paintings. So that's why they're that high. But the prints, when I get to the prints, let's see. There you go. The prints are a little more affordable. They're 12 by 18 and they're like $20 a print. Now, again, might not be your thing, but if it is, it's something to check out. Read older comics. Okay. Good night, monster. And that's what a lot of people are doing, is reading the older comics. But there you go. If that's of any interest to you, you can check that out. Well, I told you it's watercolor and gouache, but that and other stuff. That's okay. That's his style, and that's fine. Very influenced by Sienkiewicz and other people, but that's fine. I'm not going to tell you that Ted's as good as Bill. He's not. Maybe someday, but it's obvious that Sienkiewicz is one of his influences. But yeah, if that's not to your liking, that's fine. It was just something of, since he's someone that has been on the show before that you may have seen, just let you know he had the site up now and that you could check that out. Okay. Now, I know I'm a little bit heated a little bit in my tone tonight. I apologize if I'm a little bit grumpy with that. It's one of the things that you press my buttons on. I get a little bit huffy about, I guess you could say. But it's the same thing. I mean, it's why my books aren't in comic shops, because back in the 90s, they would tell me, your stuff won't sell when I got Batman or Superman or X-Men or whatever. And I could go right next door to a store, record store or a used bookstore or whatever, and sell more copies than they were selling of Batman. Now, does that mean my book is better or worse? No. It just means if someone's marketing my book properly, it'll sell. Just as if you market Batman properly, it'll sell. Usually. But that's the way it is. But, it's not an easy thing to be a comic book retailer, and I'm not saying that it is. It's just, I find a lot of them just do pulls and maybe 3 to 6 copies for a shelf, other than the main Batman, Superman, X-Men books, Spider-Man books, and sit back and let everybody else just decide. And you can't, that's not how you build a sustainable turnover audience, because no matter how good or bad a book is, these long-term characters that have been around for decades, you're going to get bored with them eventually, and you're going to leave them behind. And you got to have something for that customer to be interested in as an alternative. And if you're not marketing anything to them, what happens is they walk out the door and you just lose the sale, period. So, and that's where a lot of our sales. Yeah, sure. But anyway, that's all for now, I guess. Be back on Thursday. And I might be back tomorrow. I don't know, but definitely Thursday night with What Did You Get This Week? And hopefully by then I'll have read the other stuff I was supposed to read today that I didn't get around to do a read and review on. That's the plan anyway. Friday, we're doing, John and I are going to, John Norris and I'll be here talk about our favorite directors. We're going to do our top 5 favorite directors for Friday movie night talk. Partly because of what happened with not being able to get Westworld. I did get the DVD from the library today of Westworld, and John has it at his house, but we'll wait until after Thanksgiving to come back to that, in case some of you guys want to try and find a copy somewhere online to watch it on. Unfortunately, I couldn't find another one that was a viable watching platform on the internet, but maybe you can find it at your local library, a DVD copy or something. Let me know. But we'll talk about that on... Hold on a second. Why is that not doing what it's supposed to do? I hate when this does this. There we go. Again, 8 Thursday, 8 Friday. And then I'll come back on Saturday and do the live draw, finish up that Godzilla piece, and hopefully show some other drawings as well. And so that'll probably be in the afternoon. Quick question from Pop. Do you ever buy older back issues on your weekly comic visit or just new books? Usually when there's a sale, I might go through the back issue boxes for trades or something. But I don't normally go through back issues these days because the local stores are more modern. They don't have a lot of pre-90s books in their stock. And anything that if I'm looking for older issues, it's all pre-90s, usually the 70s and early 80s. So there's not really a whole lot there to look for. And when there is, the price points are really, I'm not saying they're out of line, because I don't follow enough of the back market these days to know what is and isn't really in line anymore. But it's a little bit too rich for my blood these days, so I'm a little bit hesitant on it. That's why I tend to go look for the trade collections or the omnibuses when they're on sale at 50-60% off. Which is not very often, but they do have it a few times a year. So that's usually when I get the back stock, is then. Or if there's I might go to one store when they're having a sale. They've got about 100 or so short boxes of randomized back issues in I don't know what level grade they would give them these days, because if they do the grades from 1 to 10 and all that nonsense, but they're probably in the 3 to 4.0 range, I guess, for reader quality, for collector quality. If there's something I'm missing and they're selling it for 50 cents or $1, I might get those in a 50-cent box or a $1 box. But that's not at my normal store. They don't have that at my normal store. So what I usually end up doing is just pre-ordering everything I'm going to get, and I get what I get in my pre-orders. So I wish that they had more junk comic stores, I guess you could say. When I say junk comics, I mean the old stuff that you could go through the back issue bins and spend hours and hours and hours just rifling through stuff, looking for stuff to read. I do enjoy that, but they're not really around this area. That I'd have to go to, and I don't have time when I go to conventions to do that. And they usually don't have the $50 cent box anymore anyway. At those, they usually go $5 boxes at the conventions when I see them. So anyway, North says, great stream, have a good one, everybody. Yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday. If you like this video or you think others might, hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from my channel. As always, I thank you for your support. Please be sure to check out those crowdfunding campaigns if any of them interested you. In the meantime, there we go. Social media, Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. And no, I don't have a blue check mark. And no, I'm not getting a blue check mark. And no, I don't care if Twitter goes away. If it does, it does. Anyway, my artwork, deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can see, you've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, exclusively on YouTube. Questions, comments, recommendations for other topics of discussion. Quoth the Raven at lbr72@gmail.com is the email address to reach me at. If I don't get back to you in a day or two, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. The older comics in the basement. Well, I don't know about keep them in the basement. Why would I want to keep them in the basement? Oh, well. But even so, I mean, if you guys saw my room right now, my storage room of comics, well, first off, you'd probably hit me, if not shoot me dead. Actually, I'm going to the comic shop tomorrow to buy probably about 3 or 4 long boxes at least just to start getting books put away. I have to completely rearrange that room. So, yeah, it's a mess back there. But anyway, we will see you next time. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you around.